Hi guys, so welcome to my very first Instagram TV. I don't know why it took me so long to get here, but here we are. And I am going to talk about a topic that is really near and dear to my heart. It's something that I really believe in. It is a hot topic right now. I think it's definitely a buzzword. We see a lot of it everywhere, and it's self-love. So self-love, what does it mean? What is it? What do we do? How do we get there? And by definition, I mean, self-love is love of self, right? That devotion to our own happiness. And one thing that I really want to stress and talk about that I think is really important, something that I've really been trying to honor and that I've realized recently, is that self-love isn't you do this and then you get there, right? We see a lot of love yourself first and then love yourself first and this. Whereas truly, I think, like with all good relationships, self-love is a relationship with ourselves. In the same way that we invest in our romantic relationships, in our professional relationships, and they all have pockets and dips, and they have curves, and they have great moments, and they have not so great moments, and we have to put in the work for them. We have to put in the work for ourselves, and it's an ongoing practice, and it's a lifelong thing, right? There's always going to be conflict. I was listening to Super Soul Sunday with Devon Franklin and Oprah Winfrey. And Devon Franklin, he is a preacher and a producer, and he wrote the book Produced by Faith. And I had a big aha moment, if you will, where he said, like, we need the conflict, because in any good movie, any good story, that conflict moves the character forward. So the challenges that we have move us closer and move that needle forward for us to love ourselves more. They're all opportunities for learning and for growth. So I have 4 keys: how to get to self-love, how to practice self-love, how to maintain self-love, and how to continue to grow through your own self-love. So the first one, first and foremost, is taking responsibility and taking ownership, right? Own her ship. That we are the captains of our ship. It is up to us to own our own personal worth. We are the ones who move the needle forward. It isn't a person, it isn't an opportunity, it is not a thing. We are the ones navigating the ship. We are the script writers. The pen is in our hand. So how do you know how to take responsibility? I think first and foremost, you have to decide, is where you are right now contributing, so giving you energy, or draining your energy, right? Is this detour that you may be on right now going to bring you back closer to where you want to be and who you want to be, or is it a distraction and taking you away from it, right? And if it does not contribute to that optimal self that you want to be, and it's not really in alignment with what you know your worth to be, it goes, right? So number 2 is our connection to our source and to our self-care. And I think this is the one that a lot of people understand and know about, because we talk a lot about self-care, right? What are our habits? How are we taking care of our bodies physically, right? So are we moving our bodies every day for 30 minutes? Do we have a physical practice, whether it be running, yoga, dancing, boxing, whatever that means to you? Do you commit to the consistency of moving your body every day? When you're eating foods, I know for me, I'm not someone who does that great with processed foods. So are you feeding your container? Are you fueling your body and your energy with foods that are alive, right? Are the foods you eating dead or alive? Because that is going to ultimately contribute to how you feel physically within yourself. And then, do you have a daily practice where you connect to source and source, right? For me, that looks like a gratitude practice. Every day I write down 3 to 5 things that I am grateful for every single day. That's something that, even the little things, even if you don't even write it down. I know growing up, when we lived off of a really big street, and turning left is a challenge because you have to cross a bunch of lanes. And I know my mom would always say, when we got up to the street and we got to turn right away and there were no cars, my mom would always say thank you. I do that. I as soon as I started driving, I started doing the same thing. Now when I take the subway, and when I get to the subway and the subway just gets there and I don't have to rush and it just arrives, I'm like, thank you, right? Those simple things. So do you have a gratitude practice? Do you have a prayer practice? and it doesn't have to necessarily mean religion. It does for some people, it doesn't for others. But what is your spiritual practice? That there will take us to point number 3, which is mindset. Mindset and belief. So all of those contributing, all of those, self-care habits of getting proper sleep, eating proper foods, moving our bodies, taking time out for ourselves and away from other people, just so that we can restore our energy. All of that means nothing if the conversation we have between our ears is negative, right? So how do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in yourself? Are you doing what you need to do? And be honest. Are you doing what you need to do to get yourself to be who you want to be? Are you giving yourself a chance? Would you say the things that you're saying to yourself to your best friend? So how we can go about changing this is just by being a silent observer. Notice, just start to take an inventory of the things that you say to yourself. When you mess up on something, if there is a failure or a mistake or whatever, you go, oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm dumb. Oh, I'm a loser. Are these the things that you're saying to yourself? Instead, flip the script, right? Okay, that was a misstep. I didn't do that the way that I wanted to. I didn't act in my grace on that. I could have done better with this. I could have handled that differently. Right? And all of a sudden that starts to shift and our mindset starts to shift and we start to believe in ourselves more and we start to hold ourselves to a different standard within ourselves, right? And so then the 4th one is filter through the fluff. So this stuff is like comparing ourselves to other people, other people's opinions of who we are, what we should be doing, where we should be going, what we should be wearing, and then also, how do certain people, situations, and opportunities make you feel? That's a big one. How does it make you? What's your gut instinct, right? And if all of that doesn't serve you and all that isn't in alignment with what you know your authentic truth to be, it goes. Love and light, it goes, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be a big conversation with a person that isn't in alignment with where you're at right now, right? We can let them be where they are and live our lives separately from a distance with love, right? So it doesn't have to be a big catastrophic thing. So in practicing self-love, sometimes we're going to veer away from it. We're going to get distracted. There's going to be detours. But remembering that the self-loving thought through that, when we get distracted and we veer off course from taking responsibility, from connecting to our source and to our self-care, from managing our mindset and self-belief and filtering through the fluff, that as long as we have a place to come back to, a practice to come back to, it's always going to be growing. Right? We're always going to be learning, and each new obstacle, each new challenge is going to make us grow to our next level. And then what happens when you level up? You get challenged to level up, right? So just, finishing off and leaving you here with knowing that there is no outside thing. There's not another book. There's not another person. There's not no, it's here. We already have everything that we need to take responsibility, to manage our mindset, to connect to our source and to our self-care, and to filter through that fluff. It's here. We know how we feel. We know what is right for us. We just need to honor it. We just need to own it. That's it. That's all. And always remembering that where you are in your journey, on or off your mat, whatever season that you are in right now, that you are enough as you are, where you are, who you are, today and every single day. From my heart to each and every one of yours. Namaste.